This is likely not going to be a fantastic production value, and I apologize in advance. I'm just filming in a room that I do need to make some more progress on in terms of a filming space. But what I wanted to do today is answer the most common question that I get as a blind guy, and I get this often. Now, sometimes when I get this question, it's really frustrating because the only thing I want to do is be doing what I'm doing without interruption. So as an example, last Friday night I was out to dinner with my fiance and she left to use the restroom, and a man walked up to my table. It was just me, and he said, "Hey sir, I've got a question for you." And I had just spent the day working with kids. You know, I field questions all the time. I honestly was just kind of zoning out post-dinner, enjoying the evening. And all of a sudden I had to kick my teacher personality back in a little bit. And, "Yeah, what can I do for you, man? You know, what's up?" And he proceeded to ask me this question. And like I said, I get this a lot. And that question is this. Now, I see that you're blind. Now, here's what I want to ask you. If I've heard that or I've read, or as I understand it, or someone told me that if one of your senses is depleted, then are the rest of yours heightened? And I have gotten this question so many times, whether it's at the bar, at the restaurant, out in the store, and I'm going to give you the answer that I prefer to give to people because I think it helps to contextualize being blind in a really good way. And I can't take credit for this. This was an article that at one point I believe I found in the BBC. If I can find the link to it, I'll put it in the description down below. But it was a really good example of how this situation works. So here's the situation I'm going to lay out for you. You are taking a walk down the street and you see a bicycle coming to you on the sidewalk that you are on, and you step to the side, the bike goes by, and you move on with your day. Now, you might passively hear the bicycle as it goes by, but because you picked it up with your eyes, that is the primary means to which you experience the bike, and so the hearing becomes a second thought because you've already picked up on it. You took the evasive action you needed to let the biker go by, and that's the end of that. Now, for me as a blind person, I might, if I'm lucky, hear that bike from about the same distance you saw it, maybe a little closer to me, depends on the circumstances and background noise, all that sort of thing. But because my ears are the only way to pick up that bike, it's not because my hearing is better that I heard the bike approaching. It's because I have to rely on my ears more than you do. My ears are the eyes on the sides of my head, and therefore they are the only way I can determine whether or not something is potentially going to endanger me. And that's why, using my ears, I was able to pick the bike up and step out of the way, let the bike go by, and we move on. And this question, this thought, is thrown out so often around blindness, and I think part of that is due to Daredevil being a common perception of a blind person. Well, guess what? Daredevil is sighted. Daredevil can see with that kind of fiery vision, if you like, the Ben Affleck movie, and I believe Netflix is more of a negative kind of X-ray kind of thing, and the idea is that it's a sonic kind of echolocation type thing, but he can see. And that perception that my hearing must be so much better is so commonplace that it becomes somewhat exhausting to try to explain it to anyone who isn't a child, because I would think that would be common sense. Now, to play devil's advocate, if you've never seen a blind person before and the only thing you have is Daredevil or media that has shown you that blind people are somehow superhuman, well, why should you believe anything else? And if you want to come ask me that question, I have to give you credit for coming and asking that question instead of harboring a stereotype. And so this balancing act is one that I find I have to navigate fairly often, in that maybe I don't want to answer that question right in that moment. Maybe I just want to enjoy being out to dinner on a Friday night. But also, if I do answer that question, I can now say that I've maybe helped someone think about something differently, I hope. I can now say that I've done my part, I've done my due diligence, so to speak, to try to dispel stereotypes. And as frustrating as it is at times, it's my job. I don't get to choose not to be blind, and so I answer these questions nearly all of the time because I don't want someone walking away from me or from any other person thinking, wow, that guy is a jerk. You know, he wouldn't answer my question and he yelled at me for having curiosity that I was able to articulate. So that's the most common question I get as a blind person. If you have any other questions, comments, queries, theories, concerns, or anything else, please don't hesitate to leave them in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you soon. Peace.